1.5 billion gone. The biggest crypto hack ever, and it hit Bybit yesterday, February 21st, 2025. Hackers didn't just break in, they turned what was a secure vault into their personal piggy bank, and no one saw it coming. But here's the kicker, there's something they're not telling you about how this happened. A hidden flaw in the system that made this heist possible. Stick around because we're diving into the crazy details. I've also got a killer X thread breaking it all down, and a game-changing twist at the end that could have stopped it dead in its tracks. You don't believe what's been hiding in plain sight and what they're not telling you. What's up, crypto fam? Welcome back, or if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because today we've got quite a video for you. We're unpacking the Bybit hack. 1.5 billion snatched in a single day, the biggest ever, and leaving the community completely in awe. We're gonna walk through the timeline like crime scene investigators, and I've got a Twitter thread I just posted to lay it all out, and we're gonna go over it. Then we'll figure out how it happened, and I'm also going to share with you something that no one else is telling you, the reason behind it all. A mind-blowing fix at the end. So let's get into it. So let's set the stage with the timeline first. Our heist playbook. So again, this was yesterday, February 21st. It started at 10:20 a.m. Eastern roughly when Zach XBT, which many of you may know, spotted 1.46 billion pouring out of the cold wallet of Bybit, which is obviously never a good sign. And then within 30 minutes, the CEO, Ben Zhao, confirms the hack and all hell breaks loose pretty much at this point. We then see from there, the hackers are splitting the 401,000 ETH and staked ETH across 40 or more different wallets, basically in chunks of 10,000 as you can see here. 1.5 billion in total. Couple hours pass. By midday, ETH has tanked at this point by 4.2%. Then it rebounds actually most of the way as Bybit is scrambling and mentioning how they're solvent and they got a bridge loan covering 80% of it. Of course, crazy speculation everywhere. The markets are panicking. Rumors of North Korea's involvement enter the discussion. Just absolutely wild on the timeline. You probably all saw it. Honestly, Bybit handled it incredibly well, and their CEO, Ben, was amazing with communication. He even jumped on a space which helped provide full clarity while keeping everyone updated. And they said that all assets were backed one-to-one, and even Hacken, a security auditor, confirmed this as well, which helped ease market tensions. Around the same time at 11:32 Eastern, Arkham issues a bounty, and within less than 3 hours, Zach XBT again submitted and he broke the case. He figured out that Lazarus Group was involved in this hack. They're a well-known hacker group based out of North Korea. Then the craziness continues. Bitcoin maxis, Sol maxis, including one of the Solana founders, start coming out and talking about our ETH rollback, which is not even up for discussion, honestly, if you ask me. It's ridiculous. They're using this to their advantage to make Ethereum look bad. And so the communities and conversations are running rampant about how Ethereum might do a rollback, which is basically going to create a fork. And we've been here, done that before, and it's a mess. It could honestly be a death sentence if it were to happen. And it would mess with trust, change stability, and it's just not something we need to do. But it's still continuing. As of just 6 hours ago from this recording, Crypto Town Hall is still putting up information about how it may be a possibility. And some of the latest news is that Bybit official just issued a massive bounty for 10% of the amount that is lost, $140 million for anyone that can help recover it. That's an incredible amount of money. Hopefully it goes well, and hopefully they can recover a good portion of what is going on. So that's the play-by-play basically. 1.5 billion gone. The market is completely shaken and is still ongoing right now with investigations. And now this rollback drama. But what if the real story is deeper than they're letting on? Let's dig into what happened. So what went down really? Bybit's a titan. They have 60 million users. They're one of the top exchanges, and they've got cold wallets, which are basically the equivalent of a bank vault buried underground, offline, locked tight, untouchable, except one got touched. Big time. Just one wallet got hit, the rest stayed safe. Bybit's CEO, Ben, is out there quick, telling people, don't freak out, we're solvent, your assets are one-to-one backed, this is great. Their communication is phenomenal around this. They're covering the 1.5 billion loss, pulling financial acrobatics, honestly, with a bridge loan for 80% of it. But how does 1.5 billion vanish from a cold wallet? Was it a tech genius cracking code? No, this wasn't about breaking the system. It was about tricking the people guarding it. And here's a question to chew on. Was the system itself setting it up for this fall? Stick with me because we're getting there. But first, let's break down how this all happened with this amazing thread that I found by Dave. So Dave here breaks it down incredibly well, exactly what happened, and it's kind of technical, so I'm gonna try and help break it down for you here. So what he's talking about here is basically how it all happened. An attacker deployed a Trojan contract and a backdoor contract. Attacker tricked signers of the upgradable multi-sig cold wallet to authorize a malicious ERC transfer to a Trojan contract. Don't worry, I'm gonna break all this down and explain it in just a second. And instead of transferring tokens, Trojan contract replaces the master copy of the actual safe multi-sig implementation. A huge red flag and issue with Ethereum's functionality. And then the attacker basically called a function sweep ETH and sweep ERC20 to drain the wallets of all of its Ethereum-based assets. So let's kind of dive into exactly how this all works. So basically, Bybit's cold wallet, think of it like a bank safe with 5 locks, and you need 3 people to unlock it. We can call them Alice, Bob, and Charlie, for example. And at least 3 of them are needed to turn the keys and open it. Safe, which is the tool that they used, a multi-sig tool, is like the bank system that checks if all keys are turned before the door swings open. So how this works is the hackers basically got all the signers to approve a malicious transaction, and what they did is they didn't break the locks. They just tricked Alice, Bob, and Charlie, or the 3 people that needed for a multi-sig, into thinking they were turning their keys for something normal. But really what they were doing is they were unlocking the entire safe to let the hackers completely clean it out. And this is not only a social engineering issue, but also a major issue with the functionality of Ethereum. And we're gonna get into that in just a second. As you can see, this looks kind of complicated. I'm gonna break it down. So hackers got the signers to approve a malicious transaction with this social engineering. So the transaction looked like a routine transfer to a warm wallet. So the malicious code used Safe's execute transaction function to call an attacker's contract, altering the wallet logic basically. And you could think of it like a master key that can do anything. And what it did is it reprogrammed the smart contract, and the hackers used it to call their own code, which changed the rules to the entire contract. And now at that point, the hackers had control of everything. So this exploited Safe's flexibility. It wasn't a bug, it was human error via basically a spoofed UI. So again, Safe wasn't broken, it's just kind of flexible. But the co-signers got duped into signing something that they didn't know about, thinking they were approving a normal transaction, not this massive heist. The problem? The system's complexity let this slip by. The gist of it is that the co-signers, the high-ups at Bybit, Ben, and whoever else were in charge of the multisig, most likely had malware or something on their computer that allowed for all this to happen. And then they received a transaction that looked just like any normal transaction. And if you're familiar with Ethereum, you know that the transaction manifest is often unreadable and it's a jumbled mess. So it may just look like a standard transaction, but in the back end, what you're doing is you're turning over control of everything. And that is a massive flaw with Ethereum. So let's zoom in on Safe, Bybit's multi-sig tool. Safe's kind of like the gatekeeper, needs say 3 out of 5 signers to unlock the vault. Ben was obviously one of these, and he most likely double checked the URL following protocol, but the hackers didn't hack Safe's code. What they did is they fooled the signers. And there's 2 ways this could have happened. Either all of the signers hit a fake Safe site via phishing. We've seen it before. Maybe instead of going to safe.com, they went to safe.co. Now these are completely made up websites, but you get the idea. We've seen this in Web3 happen many, many times with Uniswap and other big players. Basically a typo of a URL that sends people to a malicious version of the site, or possibly malware on every signer's device swap the transaction data. Either way, all the required signers got duped at once. Safe's smart contracts, they're clean, at least according to Safe's team. No bugs, no breaches, they just executed what was signed. The flaw was human. But here's a thought, why was this so easy to pull off? Could the Ethereum system itself, those ERC tokens and the EVM complexity, the unreadable transactions, be the real culprit? Now, the part you've been waiting for. What they aren't telling you. Everyone's pointing at either Safe or Bybit's team or something else, But Ethereum's ERC token and EVM are the silent accomplices here. And I've been a big vocal critic of this for many years. ERC tokens like ETH and staked ETH all run on smart contracts. It's powerful, but it's a mess, a total mess. The transaction data has hidden calls, hidden functions, and you really can't tell what's gonna happen. The Bybit hackers hid their code in that complexity, basically spoofing the UI to mask a wallet drain as just a simple transfer. Ethereum's EVM, the engine running it all, lets this happen too, and it happens all the time on a daily basis almost. Safe's flexibility tied to ERC means a transaction can do anything if you sign it, such as change owners, drain funds, you name it basically. The signers couldn't decode the raw data fast enough, and the spoofed UI basically sealed the deal, and they ran with everything. This isn't just a Bybit fail, it's an Ethereum problem. Complex systems kind of breed sneaky exploits. And have you ever wondered why these mega hacks keep hitting Ethereum? I know a lot of you will say it's just due to liquidity, but there's so much more to it. It is the way ERC and EVM is designed, and it is a major flaw. And if you continue to sleep on this, you are going to get burned. But what if there's a fix? A chain that dodges this entirely? Enter MultiversX, and they're just one of many. Unlike Ethereum, MultiversX uses native assets, EGLD, which are ESDT tokens, a specialized token that's handled by the protocol. No smart contracts are needed for basic moves. Send 100 EGLD, your wallet, like xPortal, shows exactly that. Send 100 EGLD to, and the person's address or name. It's clear as day. There's no hidden code, no tricky call data, no unreadable text. Even with multi-sig, it's just approve this transfer, not execute whatever. You can't turn over your access to your wallet or any of that. Without smart contracts, there's no way to rewrite wallet logic like on Ethereum. A transfer is a transfer, nothing more, and you know exactly what is going to happen beforehand. And then you add in MultiversX's Guardians, which is on-chain 2FA, which could block it. This hack would be dead on arrival and would not be possible on MultiversX as well as some other chains. So Ethereum's complexity opened the door. MultiversX would slam it shut. So there you have it, the Bybit hack, which 1.5 billion gone, wasn't just a human error. ERC and EVM handed hackers the keys, while MultiversX and other chains such as Sui, Elgrand, Aptos, Cardano could have locked them out. Oh, and that rollback drama? Insane. I'm with the crowd on X saying that's a horrible idea. Forking ETH again would not only tank trust, but it would confuse the chain and set a precedent for every hack to demand a do-over. Imagine every exchange crying, undo, undo, if they had a major loss like this. Total chaos. So we can't keep rewriting history like that. Curious to know, what do you think? Time to rethink Ethereum's dominance or stick with it? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'm all ears. But this needs to stop and it needs to be addressed. So if this blew your mind, smash that like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more crypto truth bombs. Stay sharp and stop using flawed systems. I'll see you in the next one.